What's going on, guys? Today we are upgrading the sound in our Ford F-350. We have the STX package, which is basically a work truck. So it comes with the basic radio with 7 speakers. And it's actually not the basic radio, it is the 8-inch screen. But the speakers are basic, there's no amplifier, nothing like that. So we are going to install the Kicker Key 200.4. I've been looking at this amplifier for a long time now, and I caught a Black Friday sale. It was $200, so I went ahead and pulled the trigger on that. I did not, however, buy speakers to upgrade the sound system. I did that on purpose because I just want to see how much of a difference it makes with the stock speakers. This amplifier does about 50 watts per 4 channels. And your factory speakers are probably like 7 watts. So will it blow the speakers immediately? I doubt it, but maybe it could, I don't know. So this is going to be stage 1 of my radio upgrade. Hopefully down the road we can upgrade the speakers, add some sound deadening, things like that. And maybe if the time is right and the money's right, we'll add an amplifier and a subwoofer. So let's jump into it. I'll show you what harnesses I'm using, what adapters I'm using, and we will install the amplifier and give it a test. So to start out, we ran this 4-gauge power and ground from the battery all the way here under the driver's seat. The 4-gauge is going to run into this New Concepts distribution block, and it goes from a 4-gauge to 4 8-gauges. I don't think I'll ever have 4 8-gauge wires coming out of this, but definitely 2. I had a piece of wood that was about the right size, so I cut it down to the right size, painted that black. It's as simple as that. And this is our amplifier. It's going to sit in this area under the driver's seat. This will give me access to adjustments that may need to be made later on. You can see these dip switches. We're going to need to set those correctly. And I may need to play with the gain settings after we run the setup. So to tie into a factory radio, you need to take the signal from the radio and run it down these wires over to your amplifier. And then you're going to run the sound from the amplifier back through another cable, just like that one, up to your radio. And we have an adapter that we're going to connect all that to. And this is the adapter we're going to use. That is the part number. So the signal wire that I'm using to run the high-level inputs from the radio to the amplifier is the stuff that I got off of Amazon. It has 9 leads inside, which is all of your speaker wire leads and a remote for your amplifier, which is that blue wire. So the signal wire that goes from the amplifier up to the radio, I've already connected both ends of that. Where's the other end? There we go. So this is the end that goes to the amplifier. I have my power and ground for the amp, and you'll notice these are very small compared to most amplifiers. I plan to run this power wire to an inline fuse that came with the amplifier, and then I'm going to run the other end of that wire straight into the distribution block. And then the ground, I'm just going to run it straight into the distribution block because it sits right beside it. Yes, these are butt connectors, crimp-on butt connectors. Folks hate on these all the time. I've used them in a million different things. These are a little nicer than your standard butt connectors because it has heat shrink and it has an adhesive in there. So once you crimp these together, I just crimp them several times, and then I take another pair of pliers and squeeze down on them again just to make sure they're tight. Then I get a heat gun, heat these up. They'll shrink down, and then the adhesive comes out of both sides, and you've got a good seal. Not that this is going to get wet or anything, but I just have a whole pack of these, so I'm using these. To recap what I was just doing, I cut these low-level inputs off of the kicker harness I tied my speaker wire in that's coming from the radio into the other end of this harness, and it's as simple as that. The kicker key is smart enough to know that you're running high level inputs. So now I'm just going to jump over to the other side of this cable. I'm going to attach these speaker wire adapters, and then we can plug everything up to the back of the radio once we get everything apart. Okay, after these have cooled down, I'm going to put a piece of expandable sleeving over the connections, just to kind of protect them a little bit, make them look better. Of course, I'll have this linked down below. This is some awesome stuff to use. Makes your projects look a lot better than just leaving butt connectors on there. I'm just going to go just past where we connected everything. Going to use a pair of scissors to cut it to length. Then I'm going to push it further, stretch it out real good. Then I don't want to cover up these labels, so I know which side I'm working with. Then I have this larger heat shrink that I'm going to put over the top of everything, and I'm going to run this down to this end. And then I think I'm out of black, so I may have to use a piece of red on the end over here. This is all going to be behind the radio, so not a huge deal. And we'll heat it up until it shrinks down and the adhesive comes out, and we know we're sealed up. Try not to heat the expandable wire loom, it'll melt that. So just be easy, heat around this area and you'll be fine. Alright, now I'm going to heat the other end. Careful not to burn anything in your car. That would be terrible. Burn your whole car down. And there we are. Okay, the last step is to get behind the radio to the plug, the factory plug, so we can plug our harness in. We're going to remove this speaker grill. I'll do that with a prying tool. There are two 7mm bolts there in the back. This piece is going to pop out. You can also do that with the trim tool. You're going to have a 7mm here, there. This whole front piece is going to pop off, and you can leave the screen in because you're looking the actual brain for the radio, which is further down here. And we're going to take that out with 7mm bolts. We'll plug this in, plug our cables in that are run there, and we should be good to go. Once you have your radio out, you'll see the wiring harness here. This is the one we need to unplug. We're going to plug that into our adapter, plug the adapter in here to the back of the radio. I'm going to route my wiring through this area here behind the dash. It's already right there at it, so it should be pretty easy to get through there. Maybe hire a child to help with this part. Small arms. Let's unplug the factory harness. That's what we need. Clips right in place, very nice. This is gonna clip right in place on the back of the factory radio. And now we have our speaker inputs, and I believe they are made to only go to one side or the other to the amplifier, and they are male inputs, so they only plug in one way, which is great because this could get really confusing running wires from the back to the front. And then this is the front signal. Same thing, we're gonna plug it in, so we're good to go with that. Now I'm going to take the other side, and this is from the amplifier to the stereo, and we're going to plug in the front signals in. Now the rear signal is in. Well, close. And that's in. And I believe that's all we have to do. Our dip switches. This is how we have those set up. I read through the manual and I also watched a couple videos. If you've never watched 5-Star Car Audio, that is the channel to check out. They are amazing. I watched a couple of their videos. I figured out how I want to set it up. This may differ from your setup, so do some research and you should be able to figure this out. It's not too hard. That's what it's going to look like. A couple screws to hold the distribution box in. Kicker amplifier's good. So now it's going to sit right there. I have to push these under a little more. This end is going to plug in here. This end, I can't decide. I think maybe I'll run it around that way. Yeah. Okay, cool. It will plug in that way. Power is going to go around here. I've got to run it into the fuse that came with the amplifier. Make sure it has a fuse. Yes. So it has a 20 amp fuse. Okay, everything is connected. We're under the seat. So I just need to clean up a little bit and lower the seat back down. Make sure I'm mindful of these wires, my signal wires that I ran under here. Okay, the final step will be connecting this 4-gauge positive end to my inline fuse here on the side of the engine bay. And I'm just gonna install this in there. This end will go onto the positive cable. And we'll be ready to test, finally. Before we start with the tuning process, I went on to Kicker's website and I downloaded a Pink Noise download MP3. And I put that on my phone. I'm gonna connect my phone by cable. It is very important not to use Bluetooth because it compresses that sound. So make sure you're using a cable to play the Pink Noise. I'm going to go ahead and set up the microphone and attach it to my headrest, and then we will do the setup. This is the microphone. We're going to connect it to this rubber strap, and that'll go around the headrest of the driver's seat. The microphone is going to be pointing straight up, and then we'll plug this end into the amplifier. A few important things to note: you don't want any noise outside or inside the truck. When you're playing the Pink Noise through your phone, make sure your phone is on silent or airplane mode or whatever it takes to keep text from coming through or any other noises. I'm going to turn the truck on, then I'm going to let the Pink Noise start playing. Then I'm going to press this button. Make sure our microphone's in place before I do that. And it should give me some beeps to get out of the truck, and it'll start tuning the system. One thing I've heard says turn it up to like 23. The next thing I've heard says turn it up to a normal listening level. I'm gonna go with 23. Okay, here we go. That doesn't seem right. Seems like the center speaker is playing constantly. Okay, I made a mistake. I thought that the center channel playing didn't seem right, and it wasn't. So I watched a couple videos. I found out you need to unplug the center channel speaker because that's not playing through the key amplifier. So I'm going to do that now. Remove the panel, unplug the speaker. Then I'm going to redo the auto tune. See what happens. Auto tune. I think that's a voice thing. Anyway, I'm going to redo the tuning. So one other thing it says is to turn it up just above listening level. I turned it way up last time. I'm going to go somewhere around I don't know. That's what we're gonna try. Now I'm gonna hold the button in for 10 seconds. It says it seems like an eternity. We're gonna try it, and it should beep. That means it's erasing what it remembered before, or what it learned before. Okay, we're gonna play the pink noise. I'm gonna press the button again. All right, it's doing the same thing, so it's gonna start over. Well, that wasn't good. It sounded like everything was going well, and then it didn't. It gave me the bad noise. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, this is like a emotional roller coaster here. It failed. The auto EQ failed. 4 beeps. I looked in the manual. It says that the volume was not high enough. So there we go. I'm going to turn it back up to 23. Run it again. And man, I hope it works this time. Third time's a charm, hopefully. So you do have to turn it up pretty loud. Okay, last step is to set the gains on the amplifier. I downloaded a 1000 hertz sine wave tone from Kicker's website, and I'm going to play that at 3/4 volume. Then I'm going to turn the gains up on the amplifier until the clipping light comes on. Then I'm going to turn it back down. So I'm going to play the test tone, try to turn those until the light above that turns on. And once it turns on, we're going to turn it back down slightly. Ow! Jeez. Okay, so I turned it up to like 22. The clipping light on this side turned on automatically with the gains already all the way down. The one on the other side wasn't, so I turned it up. I don't know if that was a good idea or not, but I turned it up so the light would turn on at the same time as the other, and now they're about the same. Okay, let's try this thing out again. Okay, that sounds awesome. So you can use the tuning button to change it back to just how it would be without time alignment, without any of the DSP functions. And basically what the DSP does is it makes it sound like the music is coming from the front and the center. So like it's a stage. That is your sound stage. That's where it sounds like the music is coming from. It sounds awesome. You press the button and it doesn't sound that way anymore. It sounds like it's just coming from the speakers. Makes a huge difference. Even with the stock speakers, it's got a good sound. It has a lot of bass actually, which I'm kind of surprised by. That's pretty awesome. A lot more than I thought I could ask for out of these stock speakers. So I'm gonna play around with this for a while. Leave the stock speakers in. Maybe the next upgrade won't be factory speakers. Maybe it'll be a sub. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. It helps our channel. It helps us grow. Helps me get a sub. Thanks. Bye.